This is a machinist nightmare.
I think if I had to narrow down one thing that will make jobs take longer, make my blood pressure go up, and just generally ruin my day,
this is probably the thing that really grinds my gears.
it's a fact of life. You know, you're working on something, you put it down real quick, you get distracted, and all of a sudden that thing is gone forever.
And keep them away from the ham-fisted monkeys that like to, use a cheater bar on a crescent wrench. Don't do that either.
And then, like I said, when I asked for a radius, I got a very small radius. And I said, still not solving the problem here.
Hey guys, Patrick here from Practical Machinist. So we all know that all of us here at Practical Machinist love machining. That's why we're here. But it's not always sunshine and rainbows in the shop. Today, the team and I are going to go over the top things in a shop that drive us nuts. So everybody knows me to be a pretty jovial, happy, friendly guy, right? You might be wondering what on earth could get Patrick wound up so tight that he might even cuss every now and then. Well, let me tell you. These things. I hate clamp kits. So every shop I've ever worked at, you have maybe one or two good clamp kits that are reserved for special people, but then you have a bunch of junk ones, all right? And every other stud in here is mangled and you gotta run a die over it. Every nut, you gotta run a tap through to hope that they even work. And in my case, because I really am not a fan of doing plate work or clamp work where I've got to use these things for anything more than a vise hold down, I'm already upset because I don't like that kind of work. And then I've got to monkey my way through a mangled mess of, studs and bolts and washers and whatever else. My biggest pet peeve is just walking up to one of these things. Even if I need to just clamp down a vise or a rotary table or whatever it may be, and I grab a hold of one of these and I either don't have the right length, all the pieces that I need are missing and strewn all over the shop, and I can't, I have to go all the way around the shop to find what I need in this. It's an easy fix, right? Just have good sets of these. They're not cheap, but they're well worth it. They don't get mangled the first time you barely over tighten a nut. And keep them away from the ham-fisted monkeys that like to, use a cheater bar on a crescent wrench. Don't do that either. There's a lot of other things in a shop that obviously can annoy me. This is probably the thing that really grinds my gears.
What drives machinists nuts? I know for me personally, it is when I can't find my tools or I can't find the tool I'm looking for because somebody didn't put it back. And yes, sometimes that someone is me. I think we can all kind of agree that there's nothing worse. You go to grab your Allen keys, you need that 3/16, and you'll have 4 sets of Allen keys, and there's no 3/16. And somehow the entire shop does not have 3/16 Allen keys. Or you go to the box and you go to grab a 1/2 inch ML, 1 inch length of cut. There's 4 cases in there, you're ready to go. They're all empty. I've been as guilty of this over the years as everybody else. But I think if I had to narrow down one thing that will make jobs take longer, make my blood pressure go up, and just generally ruin my day, it's when I can't find tools because someone, even if that someone is me, didn't put them back where they belong. I think this is one of those things that probably even the most organized shops struggle with. When you see the shadow foam and the Kaizen foam, I don't think I've ever seen one of those in a shop that had every single tool where it was supposed to be. It's a fact of life. You're working on something, you put it down real quick, you get distracted, and all of a sudden that thing is gone forever. I don't know what the solution is. We've been trying for years. I'm sure you guys have as well. But if I had to narrow it down to one thing, that would be it.
Hey guys, Justin from Zealous Manufacturing here. And on today's Ultimate Series by Practical Machinist, we are going to talk about things that make machinists and engineers go nuts when they see it. Let's get into it quick. So we've all gotten the email, RFQ, request, can you make something? And then there's a picture, or it's, way out here, or there's nothing in scale. What's the item? What do you need made? I'd love to help, but I need more detail. How many? What's the material? What are some of the features? And then they send you either, my favorite is, well, I have one that somebody 3D printed, can you make it? Or, I'll send you a model. Sometimes STL files, which are not the best to work with on machine, you got to convert it to solids and etc. Or sometimes you'll get somebody that has a CAD software or knows somebody that can draw it up, and they draw it up for you. And then you get this. This is a 2-inch deep hex, sharp corners in the corner. So that's sharp, 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 sharp. This is a machinist nightmare. The only way you can really make this is by wire EDMing it or sinker, because this is a blind hole. So if it was a through hole, you could just wire EDM it out. Not a big deal, but you got to have a sinker EDM to put this feature in. So that is something that I raised a red flag, and I said, hey, what's that feature? What does it need? Can we put a radius in the corner? He said, yeah, I'll have a buddy modify it and give you a radius. Let's look at the file that we received. So here's the file. Again, I kind of cleaned this up, hid a lot of the features, but let's show this file. So as you can see here, same general file. Here's where it gets fun. So this is the file we received with a radius in the corner. Let's look at that radius. There's a 10 thousandths radius. 10 thousandths, I believe, yeah, 2 inches deep. So could you make this? You probably could, but it's not going to be cheap. You're going to have to drill this or do something very fancy. I still would propose this is a wire sync item. So once I worked with the customer, found out that this is just clearance. They're going to actually slip this over something that is a hex. So the proposed solution, we can make that quick for you. Working with this customer is an engineer. I'm not picking on engineers, but this is something they don't talk about a lot in school. So I said, can we drill out the corners? And they said, oh, absolutely, that's not a problem. Obviously, we're going to round this or chamfer this. Otherwise, you have a stress riser there. But this is one of those things that drives me insane. Things that aren't manufacturable. And when you work with them, and then, like I said, when I asked for a radius, I got a very small radius. And I said, still not solving the problem here. If this was, let's say, 10,000, I don't know, maybe 1/4 inch deep. This was maybe 1/4 inch deep. It's a little easier. Oh, wrong way. But you guys get the point, right? So if this was 1/4 inch deep, there we go. 10th thou radius isn't crazy. Still not fun, but it's possible. So that's one thing that really drives me nuts. The other thing, I'm going to pull up a drawing that I did as an example. Let's look at this drawing, right? Simple round item, bolt holes, dowel hole, etc. So one thing that drives me nuts is this note. I see this a lot. Press fit for dowel, drill and ream. To me, when I came from the engineering design side, I always stated to my guys as they came in and they were new and green, I said, never tell the machinist how to make the item. You say, press fit for dowel. My joke is, if they want to do this with a chisel by hand, be my guest. If they have, say they don't have a drill and a reamer, they have a wire that's sitting, idle, and they want to use it and play with it, a new machine or whatever, and they want to do it that way, to me, I don't care. I don't care how that feature is put in the item as long as it's in there. Another thing you'll note, another thing I don't like to see, you'll see a lot of people pull out surface roughness, surface finish requirements, and then they'll have a feature on it that overrides that. So typically this is going to be like a Blanchard ground surface. You're probably going to be 64 or better. Sometimes you can even get 32. I see this on diameters too sometimes where, let's say they had this feature. Let's go in and let's just do it for example. Let's do, back in when I did a lot of stamping dies, you could have features like this. We need 4 place decimals to pick that up. Right, you got a 1/10 tolerance on this, and then I would love when I would see, something along the lines of, number 8 or an 8 finish. Like, you have to grind that, or, if it's a hardened material, hard turn it. Typically, these two are redundant to me. That's another thing I don't like to see. Sometimes you'll see this as well. I know this is taught, and this is kind of a discussion amongst people. I do not like to see datums on features that are not physically something I can touch or feel. So here you have a center line of the material, and that's your datum A. You got to draw in all diameters concentric within 5 thou of datum A. So to me, I prefer if datum A was up here. Do that quickly, just redundant. We'll say A. It's probably going to yell at me because it's redundant, but I would prefer to see, this is not right either with the arrow or the leader, but I would prefer to see A off of here, and then from there, concentric within 5. This is something I physically can touch. I don't like having things that are theoretical based off of, because it's all in question then, in my opinion. Another one I see sometimes is, parallel and flat, but you have a 1/2 tenth, or you've got 5/10 tolerance built in here with the title block. So yes, you could be, not flat and parallel, but when you only have 1/2 tenth, you're probably overriding that. If these were within 2/10, then it's understandable, but when you have tolerances that override the feature itself, I don't like to see that. That's something to watch out for. The other one, you guys will like to see this one, all the machinists here, when the tap is the same as the drill points, right? That gets goofy. Can you do it? Sure, but does it need to be there? No. This is actually an item I helped a customer with. They kind of did the sketch, and they had a free CAD software that they did this on. Lo and behold, this was just a ring to bolt something to the table, and then the other pattern was to allow like a mount to go on it. So I said, can these holes be through? And they said, oh, absolutely. So another thing I don't like is blind holes just to make them blind. I always joke the biggest problem we have in design world is this feature here, which is the hole tool. Typically, it just brings up a random distance. This one's 0.1 because I did it that way for the example, but typically the hole tools will just put it at a known value. It's usually like 1.5 times diameter of the thread, but if it can be through, make it through. But again, as designers, they don't teach these things in school. Something to watch out for as well. So those are some things that drive me as I'll use this term loosely, machinist, more engineer than machinist, nuts. Usually when I get those requests, I kind of say, hey, I can get you a price on this. It's not going to be cheap. If you're willing to make some tweaks to the design, we can probably drive some costs down. So curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are, and if you have experienced some of those same things, and what your approach was when you did receive those.
Well, that's it, folks. That's our top list of things that just drive us all nuts. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a subscribe here on Practical Machinist, hit the like button, and let us know what drives you crazy in a shop. What really grinds your gears? Drop it down below in the comments. Also, be sure to check out everybody's respective series. You've got the Practical Machinist podcast, you've got the Lathe Lab, you've got Becoming a Practical Machinist, Shop Talk. We've got a ton of great content here on Practical Machinist that you'll enjoy. Thanks for watching. Be safe in the shop. Keep those spindles turning.